Welcome, everyone. A little housekeeping first. For the best visual performance this evening, we need you to click on the speaker icon in the upper right-hand corner of your screen instead of the gallery view. Okay? With that aside, good evening, everyone. On behalf of the Penn AER Board of Directors, it is my honor and my privilege to welcome you to the Penn AER Virtual Awards event. I'm Brenda Egan, your Mistress of Ceremonies for the evening. I'd like to thank you for joining us as we recognize and celebrate these very deserving individuals. It's around 6:30 on April 23rd, and we should be sitting down to our awards banquet with 200 of our very closest friends and family members right now. But instead, we're practicing social distancing, something new, and sitting in our homes, looking lovely in our Sunday best, with makeup on, probably for the first time in a little while. And we all know, down below these screens, there's pajama bottoms and sweatpants and heaven knows. Come on, fess up. We know. Regardless, it's time to sit back, enjoy that glass of wine. We all have them. And celebrate the accomplishments of the professionals we are recognizing here tonight. This evening is the result of a dedicated group of individuals who would not give up, who would not accept a canceled conference, which meant a canceled awards banquet, which would mean no special recognition for our scholarship and our award recipients. Instead, we came together, distantly, of course, and thought creatively of a way to recognize and honor the scholarship recipients, the Ellie Award, and the Welsh Award winners, which brings us to this virtual event. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to thank my partners on the awards committee. Lynn Fox, Venetia Hayden, Debbie Hosaffel, Brittany Larkin, and Mark Stetchu. This group has met for months, getting the award and scholarship documents pulled together for distribution. And when the applications came in, the process of reviewing each nomination and each application began. Then there was the difficult task of determining our final recommendation for this year's finalists. We can honestly say we had an impressive group of candidates, and they did not make our job easy. We thank each and every one of you who nominated a colleague, and for every college student who applied for the scholarship. All of the nominees and applicants are deserving, and we are very proud to call you our colleagues. In addition, special thanks to Mary Nell McLennan for helping out this evening, and to Doug Williams and Greg Glazier for their technical support. Words cannot express my sincere appreciation to the work of this committee and to the others who have assisted with everything that went on behind the scenes. Of course, special thanks to the Penn AER Board of Directors for supporting this very special event. The agenda this evening includes the presentation of student scholarship, the presentation of the Penn AER Chapter Awards, which includes the Eleanor Long Educator of the Year Award and the Penn AER Richard L. Welsh Service Award. I'm sure there's a couple of ladies who are anxious to get their scholarship checks. So let's get moving. The Penn AER Student Scholarship offers a $1,000 scholarship and a voucher to cover the transitional year for AER membership to one worthy student recipient. This year, the awards committee recommended 2 deserving student recipients for this coveted scholarship. This was for several reasons, the most obvious being both ladies met and exceeded the criteria. And it so happened that in 2019, there was no scholarship recipient. So we went after that money. Simple as that. Application for this competitive scholarship is available to full and/or part-time students majoring in the following certification areas: low vision therapy, orientation and mobility, rehabilitation counseling, teacher of students with visual impairments, or rehabilitation therapy. Applicants must be enrolled in an undergraduate, graduate, or doctoral program at an accredited college or university. All applicants must have a minimum of a grade point average of 3.0 or higher in a major field of study. Applicants must live or work within the states of Pennsylvania or Delaware, but need not be enrolled in a program in Pennsylvania or Delaware. A student may only receive this scholarship once and must be a current member of the Penn AER chapter. Our first scholarship recipient is Patricia DeCenzio, a student in the Vision Studies program at the University of Pittsburgh. She is working on her master's degree in education with certification in teaching students with visual impairments. She plans to graduate in the spring of 2021. Prior to entering the program at Pitt, Patty was a banker, a stay-at-home mom, a school volunteer. She then became a paraprofessional, and then she landed a position with the Allegheny Intermediate Unit as the Materials Support and Accessible Materials Production Specialist, where she went on to take classes to learn Braille, and then she went on to learn how to make documents accessible. This was prior to being enrolled at the university. This was Patty taking initiative to give her teachers all the support she could. Additionally, Patty was making documents accessible for Penn before we even really knew who Patty was. This was Patty helping her supervisor, who worked on the Penn conference program. She recently shared her knowledge of accessible document production at the Penn conference by co-presenting with a former colleague and mentor. Oh, and by the way, in her spare time, Patty serves as Penn AER's student ambassador. All of this to say, I'm sure you can see why Patty is one of Penn $1,000 student scholarship recipients. Congratulations, Patty.
Thank you, Brenda. You actually could have said my speech for me, most of it. Before I begin, I want to thank the board for making this possible, this virtual award presentation. To get the scholarship was exciting enough, and I'm very grateful for that, but to have this opportunity to be acknowledged virtually in this current social environment makes this award even more special. I am honored to be one of the 2020 Student Scholarship winners and a proud member of Penn AER. My decision to return to school began with an idea that I wanted an opportunity to work in a field which supported education. This was a much different direction from the direction I was heading in banking, and that was before I became a stay-at-home mom. While working as the materials support specialist with the Allegheny Intermediate Unit, I found my true passion, and that was accessibility for students with visual impairments. It was then that I began to understand the importance of providing equal access for students within the school environment, and also the need for students to have quality teachers of the visually impaired available to them. With the support and encouragement of my family, friends, and my mentors, Brenda Lockery and Debbie Hoffmeister, I made the decision to enroll in the Vision Studies program at the University of Pittsburgh. Brenda had shared her knowledge of accessibility and introduced me to resources which fostered my passion in this area. Working with Brenda helped me to understand that I wanted to teach. Debbie was and continues to be my sounding board, always there with a suggestion to help me work through a problem or to listen while I work through a situation on my own. Brenda and Debbie, thank you for your continued support, whether it's a shoulder to lean on, a body to bounce ideas off of, or an ear just to listen. I know you're always there for me. Going back to school, working full-time, and raising a family would not be possible without the continued support, encouragement of my family and friends, my husband especially, Fred. He lets me have, sorry, he's sitting here. He lets me have my momentary outburst or two when my assignments are due or through that semester of Braille, and is always there with words of encouragement and support. I'm lucky too that our sons were able to see me work towards this goal and eventually achieve it. And I have to add that it's pretty cool when your sons, who are 18 and 22, tell you that they're proud of you. That is like amazing. I'm continually grateful for the support systems that I have. My friends, my mentors, my family. I wouldn't be able to do this without any of you. Thank you to the Penn AER members for this scholarship. I hope that you know that I will continue to live up to your expectations and you'll be able to see my dedication and support to those with visual impairments. Sorry, I'm very emotional about this. I believe that we have the responsibility to share our talents with others in every way possible. I look forward to opportunities to share my knowledge with others and then learn from others too. So thank you and congratulations to my fellow award winners.
Congratulations, Patty. You're very deserving. We can tell you're very driven, motivated, you're someone to be modeled after. We're very proud to have you as part of our chapter, and we look forward to many, many years of working together with you. Congratulations. I applaud you.
Thank
you. Don't get all that feedback now, but hey, you will.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Moving on. Laura Weaver-Prisbilla is also a student at the University of Pittsburgh, planning to graduate in the spring of 2021. Laura is also working toward her master's in education with certification in vision, orientation and mobility, and applied behavior analysis. I pulled a paragraph from one of her letters of support that I feel gives us a feel for why the committee chose Laura as a scholarship recipient. The mission of AER is to empower professionals to improve educational and rehabilitative outcomes for individuals with visual impairment. Laura's mission aligns with AER. Laura's personal mission is to empower her students and her families to improve the outcomes of her students. She has learned that through the wide variety of experiences she has had both personally and professionally. The amount of effort Laura puts into every day pales into comparison to most. To juggle what she juggles every day as a single mom, college student, working full-time is truly amazing. On top of that, she is an excellent student and a dedicated teacher. Laura is resilient, hardworking, patient, and passionate about helping others. She is going to excel in our profession. I cannot wait to call her a colleague officially. Moreover, I cannot wait to see what she does next. In her application essay for admission to Pitt, Laura wrote, "My goal in pursuing the Master's in Education and Vision Studies is not to skate through as quickly as possible with just okay grades. I want to pursue an education and excel in a skill and specialty that I am interested in, that will provide future success for myself and stability for my children, while also helping others and making a positive impact on people's lives." She goes on to say later, "The why remains, but after years of study and practicums, she has since had the opportunity to actually see how vision services and support impacts lives. That the future and the difference I can make is now my greatest motivator." Ladies and gentlemen, student scholarship recipient, Laura Weaver-Prisbilla.
Oh, thanks, Brenda. I wasn't going to start crying until I started talking, but you got me started early. So thank you so much for your kind words, and thank you to the awards committee for this honor and award. It really means a lot. So one of the first things that I'm often asked is, how did you choose this field? Because none of us get here in a straight shot. It seems like we always have a convoluted way to get where we are. My friends have asked me in the past, and as much as they try to follow along with what I'm saying, it's a long story and their eyes usually glaze over before I can finish talking. So, and there's also no such thing as a short elevator speech when you are explaining how you get into this field. Unless it's an elevator ride to the top of the Empire State Building with someone getting off at every floor. So thank you for joining me on this elevator ride as I talk a little bit about how I got into this field and my journey here. Sorry, I had my tissues, I was ready. I first heard the term teacher of the visually impaired back in 2007. I was a recent graduate from Rollins College with an undergraduate degree in anthropology, and I was new to the Pittsburgh area. I met someone named Rebecca Renshaw. You may know her. She's a familiar face around our parts. And I think our conversation the very first time went something like this. It was, "Hi, I'm Laura." And she said, "Hi, I'm Rebecca. Nice to meet you. I'm a TVI and now I'm M specialist. You should be one too. It's the best job in the world." Now, if you know Rebecca, you know that the recruitment starts early and she's passionate about this field. So she really got my wheels turning way back in 2007. And it took me a while for me to follow her advice and plunge in. My acquaintance with Rebecca turned into a friendship over the years. Between the time she first told me about this amazing job and the time I decided to follow her advice, I had 2 kids, worked multiple office jobs, and became a single mom. One of my office jobs was at an early intervention provider, and it wasn't until I started my work in EI in 2012 that I had my first experience with special education and met my first TVI out in the world. Now I can say I know a lot of them, but back in the day, they were hard to find and I didn't know too many of them. I became a bit of what I call an armchair therapist in all the disciplines after 4 years of reading every single session note from our 50+ therapists. My son also received EI services, so I got the benefit of seeing their work in action. I started thinking about options for the future, and again, I heard from that voice saying, "You really should be a TVI and go back to school." I made the decision to enroll at the University of Pittsburgh in August of 2016. I started with a plan to get my master's with a dual certification, as Brenda said, as a TVI and O&M, and then I later took advantage of the Project Combs grant, which made it so I could pursue an ABA certification. That meant I needed to take 6 more classes and have an additional internship, which didn't seem like much at the time. But now I realize how much work that is. Next spring, I will be graduating after 5 years, 14 semesters, and I calculated this a lot of times because it didn't sound right, but 100 credits. And that's assuming all goes as planned. With current events, however, I'm remaining cautiously optimistic. My opportunities to learn the world of vision and special education has extended beyond my online classroom and homework assignments. I've spent 1 year as a substitute instructional assistant in my kids' school. I got what I called a fly-on-the-wall perspective of special and general education. I've had a few long-term sub-positions as an emergency certified TVI, and I'm currently a classroom teacher at the Western Pennsylvania School for Blind Children. The past 2 years, I've been a student volunteer at our wonderful Penn AER conference. I would be lying if I said this journey has been easy. There have been semesters where I've been, a full-time single mom, a full-time grad student, and a full-time employee. That's a lot. All the other semesters I slacked and I was just a part-time student. I even found some time to date in there, and there's not very many people who are willing to take on the challenge of being sandwiched between all of these jobs. So thank you to my wonderful Justin for being there for me during all of this. A bright spot of having this Zoom award ceremony is that the people who've supported me the most are able to watch. Especially the two I love the most, my kids, Miles and Olivia. They're upstairs watching. They are finishing up 4th and 5th grade. So they, along with countless others, my family, my friends, my professors, my neighbors, coworkers, there's a lot of them, it really takes a village, have been my cheerleaders through all of this. My proudest achievement to date has been building the life that I have for my family. But next spring when I graduate, that moment of getting my diploma will take that spot for a brief moment because it has been a journey. In the ABA behavior class that I took this spring, we learned about behavioral treatment for anxiety as well as treatment for other internal disorders. One of those aspects of that treatment is being able to distinguish between goals and values, especially when you are too afraid or anxious to go on. I've had a lot of those moments. My goal is to graduate, which is pretty motivating, but sometimes it's not quite enough to keep you going when the going gets tough. But I hope the values that will shape the person and teacher that I am, as well as the future career that I have, are my ultimate motivators. I can only hope that the values I'm working towards will be something to be proud of in the future. As I reflect on the relationships that I've had in the short time that I've been in this field, I can only imagine how these will continue to grow. As I finish my education and continue my career in the best jobs in the world. Thank you for being so welcoming, answering my questions when I just don't feel like I know enough, and for recognizing the hard work that I've put in. It truly is an honor to receive this reward. Thank you.
Congratulations, Laura. Miles and Olivia, hey, it's Brenda. I need you to run downstairs and give Mommy a great big hug from Brenda and from you guys, okay? Thanks. Patricia, Patty, and Laura, congratulations to both of you. Your check's in the mail. Actually, I know you received it already. They did receive their checks, and I know they don't have time to spend it because they're busy studying, because they have both exceeded that 3.0 grade point average. So I know they're busy working on all their papers and such. So good job, girls. We look forward to working with you for many, many years, as I said to Patty, in Pendel and as professionals in the field. Okay, moving along to the chapter awards. First up, the Eleanor Long Educator of the Year Award. This award was established to recognize an outstanding professional in the field of education of students with visual impairment. Here to tell us more about the award is Debbie Hosaffel. Debbie?
Yes, thank you, Brenda. Let me just tell you a little bit about Eleanor and the award and how it's come about. The Eleanor Long Educator of the Year Award, known as the ELLY Award, was established, as Brenda had just said, to recognize a professional in the field of education of students with visual impairments in Pennsylvania, and it now includes Delaware. This award was designed for professionals who have demonstrated outstanding contributions in performance. The ELLY Award is named after Eleanor Long, who dedicated her career to developing and supporting students, programs for students with visual and dual sensory impairments in Pennsylvania. She worked at the Pennsylvania Department of Education as a state consultant for visually handicapped. We knew her as Mother Vision. Eleanor's life spanned from 1920 to 2005. I'd like to share some of the contributions that Eleanor has contributed, and those contributions are broad and have had and continue to have long-lasting effects. Here are some examples. She had a big hand in starting the Pennsylvania's resource system, now known as Pennsylvania Training and Technical Assistance Network, or as the patent system, or if you're in Eastern Pennsylvania, you would say PATAN. She had an influence with the personnel preparation programs in Pennsylvania, beginning with the University of Pittsburgh. She influenced the preschool program in Allegheny County. It was known as DART. She organized 6-week in-service programs for teachers of partially sighted in the summertime. She was one of the first State Department ex officio trustees at the American Printing House for the Blind, APH. At that time, the ex officio trustees were comprised of superintendents of the schools for the blind and were mostly males, if not all male. She was in the same genre as Joe Taylor. Some folks may remember that the American Foundation for the Blind's National Leadership Conference was originally named the Joe Taylor Leadership Conference. She influenced providing services at schools for blind children for quote unquote multi-handicap. She was involved in the Council for Education of Partially Sighted, now known as the Council for Exceptional Children, Division on Visual Impairments, and Deaf Blindness, CEC-DV-IDB. What's interesting is that she knew every teacher and every student by name. She was very tall and had a very deep voice. She encouraged and influenced teachers to get certified, such as Brenda Egan can describe, and others, and she had very many other accomplishments as well. The first recipient of the Ellie Award was in 1984 to Patricia Bowles from Berks County in IU-14. You can go to the website, or if you can see what's on the screen at present, you can see that list of recipients. This year, we want to honor this year's Ellie Award recipient, Stacy, nominated by Jamie Siegel. And now I'd like to pass this over to Jamie, who will share a brief introduction and then introduce Stacy. Jamie, thank you.
Thank you, Debbie. I am so excited to have the opportunity, and I'm already starting, to introduce to you our 2020 Penn AER Award recipient. No matter what she says, she deserves this recognition. I have been wanting to nominate Stacy Howard for the Ellie Award for the past few years, but deadlines get the best of me. Unlike me, where things keep getting pushed back, Stacy is always on top of things, even with a complex workload. When I was feeling out the crowd of colleagues and parents who work with Stacy as to who would be interested in writing a letter on her behalf, the response was insane. I was able to provide a dozen letters. There were even more offers from individuals who can speak volumes on the genuine human nature, exemplary professionalism, and over-the-top knowledge and compassion Stacy has. There is no one else like her. It is easy to speak nothing but praise for Stacy, but let me tell you this. Stacy shares an office at our Learning Center with at least 5 additional staff daily, which is also our teaching space. When Stacy is conducting a lesson while I am at my desk, I am regularly impressed with her energy level and wealth of ideas shared with her most complex students. If I'm honest, I often pause at what I'm doing so I can witness the joy brought to everyday learning in Stacy's magical world. She really does have magical powers from my perspective. She takes the most basic concepts and make them accessible in what feels like 20 different formats. Not only does she do it regularly, it seems to be implemented flawlessly. Stacy causes my heart to fill with joy, and no matter what the circumstance of an encounter, I leave with a smile on my face, feeling good about myself, and ultimately wondering how I can do half of the positive, creative, and compassionate activities she does with her students. Being a coworker of Stacy's drives me to be better every day, as a coworker, as a teacher, as an individual. I could go on and on about Stacy and her positive energy mixed with magical powers, but I cannot. It is unfortunate that most people here have not witnessed her learning and teaching experiences firsthand. You would leave an observation feeling good about you and wondering, how could I do that? Stacy would tell you you could do it. Those that have had this privilege describe Stacy only in the positives, from creative to dependable, adaptable to knowledgeable, gracious to generous, from a natural, kind, hard worker to a compassionate and committed individual. Stacy is impressive, undeniably talented, a rare find, loved, and humble. It is this last reason that I didn't share with her about the nomination. Stacy has never taken credit for the great gains her students make, even though she is often the driving force behind it all and having the team come together. Instead, she continues to offer support to the team, model for the team, and commend the team and students for their accomplishments. She pushes to make sure we are a unified group with a unified goal. It is no doubt in my mind that our staff has grown together, learned more together, and are implementing better programming for our students overall because of her efforts and drive. Stacy is an individual I strive to be every day. I promise you, Stacy, I will keep trying. You are a role model like no other. It is because of all of these things that it is my distinguished honor to introduce to you our 2020 Ellie Award winner, Ms. Stacy Howard.
Wow, thank you so much, Jamie. Wow. Hi, everyone. Thank you to the Penn AER Awards Committee, along with Patton, for organizing and hosting this virtual ceremony. I know all of you have worked hard to make this all happen tonight, and we are grateful. I'd like to thank the LA Committee for selecting me as the 2020 recipient of this award. When told that I won this, I was speechless. I was so touched when Jamie took the time to organize my nomination and recruit several of my peers to write letters of support. This award begins by being surrounded by great professionals who hold the same values to promote positive educational experiences for all of our students. I've been fortunate enough to work with truly amazing professionals, which began many years ago in IU 15 and now continues through today at IU 12. I've been blessed over the years to work with these students with blindness and visual impairments of all ages and in a variety of teaching roles and settings. My current supervisor, Danielle Massett, and my instructional advisor, Jamie Stigl, are very supportive of that concept of putting students first and creating a work environment that is positive and child-centered. The professionals that I work with are amazing, and they allow for this team approach, which maximizes the best opportunities for our students. I feel my colleagues and I live by the saying, do what you love and love what you do. Ultimately, my biggest support has always come from my family. My daughters, Jessie and Jocelyn, spent much of their childhood going to school events, waiting while I tutored students, creating adapted materials for my lessons, and tuning out the sound of the Braille writer at all hours of the night. My husband, Bob, who most of us know as Bubba, has always understood how important my students and their families are to me. For this reason, he has graciously stepped aside quite often so that I could give some of our time to these families when it was needed the most. My former and my current students and their families really are a part of my family. I feel very, very blessed. Teaching provides more than just learning opportunities. It allows us to be connected to the children and their families in such a personal way. I read this saying recently, and it really does sum up teaching for me. It says, I am a teacher. I refer to my past and my present students as my kids. I am a teacher. I'm not in it for the income. I'm in it for the outcome. I am a teacher. It's who I am. It's my passion, my calling, and my world. I want to thank everybody for this award. I know it took efforts of many, many people to make this happen, and for that, I am truly humbled and very, very grateful. Thanks.
Congratulations, Stacy. We're all very proud of you, and reading all of your letters of support that came through, it was quite obvious that you had a lot of people supporting you. And what I read into those letters was you had no idea how good you are and how much you influenced those that you worked with. And that was just my interpretation of those letters, from the private duty nurses that supported you, from the executive director of the IU, to all of your colleagues that you worked with. It was just very impressive, those letters. And you would be someone that we would all love to work with. And so congratulations from all of us to you. Very deserving. And soak it all in, girl. Soak it all in. Okay. Moving on. The Pendel AER Richard L. Welsh Service Award was established to recognize a professional who serves the education or rehabilitation needs of individuals with visual impairment in Pennsylvania or Delaware, and who has demonstrated outstanding contributions to the chapter or to the field. Here to tell us more about Dr. Welsh is someone who knew him better than all of us, his widow, Mary Nell McLennan. Mary Nell?
Thank you, Brenda. It's my honor to do this and to say a few things about Rick. Rick Welsh was many things. He was brilliant, brave, funny, honest, tall, unselfish. He was a teacher and a professor. He was an O&M specialist, a superintendent of a residential school, a colleague. He was a dad, and he was Pappy. He was a writer, a realist, a dreamer, a visionary, a scholar, a counselor, a dear friend to so many, but most of all, Rick was real. After the 8th grade, he left his native Pittsburgh to attend a Catholic seminary in New York. He studied in a seminary for 8 years, then left to dedicate his life to the work of education and rehabilitation of people who are blind or visually impaired. He earned his MA in O&M from Western Michigan University, and then in 1973, he earned his PhD in rehabilitation counseling from Pitt. He first taught O&M at the Western Pennsylvania School for Blind Children, and then later joined the staff of the brand new O&M program at the University of Pittsburgh. After that, he went to Cleveland State University, where he established the O&M program and a new rehabilitation training, teaching training program. In 1978, he left academia for administration to become the superintendent of the Maryland School for the Blind. There he initiated and championed a landmark program for students with complex disabilities, and launched an aggressive building program that he oversaw through its completion during his 12-year tenure at MSB. In 1990, he returned to his beloved Pittsburgh and as the president of the Greater Pittsburgh Guild for the Blind, now titled Blind and Vision Rehabilitation Services of Pittsburgh. Along the way, he conceptualized and co-edited the first textbook for the O&M profession. There had not been one before that. So he and Bruce Blosh compiled the very first Big Red, the Foundations of Orientation and Mobility, and he continued by editing 2 subsequent editions, all of which are still used internationally as well as here at home. Rick was one of the leaders who worked for the consolidation of 2 long-standing professional associations, AAIB and AAWB, to consolidate to form AER. He then served as AER's first elected president. His influential work to the profession and to professionalize our field of endeavor has been recognized by the most significant awards of our entire profession. They were recognized his outstanding leadership, outstanding publication, commitment, and service. Some of these awards included the Miguel Medal from the American Foundation for the Blind, the C. Warren Bledsoe for writing and publication from American Association of Workers for the Blind, the Blaha Award for significant recognition for outstanding service to professional O&M. In 1996, he was honored with the Ambrose M. Shotwell Award, which is AER's highest award for rehabilitation professionals. And the University of Pittsburgh School of Education recognized him as their first Distinguished Alumni Award. Then in 2008, Rick was inducted into the Hall of Fame of Leaders and Legends of the Blindness field. Rick loved his work, and our field of education and rehabilitation made the most of his talents for listening, for counseling, for mentoring, for humor, compassion, and leadership. Rick never sought a fight, but neither did he ever back down from one when it involved an issue he believed in. He was never braver, however, than the 12 and a half years he valiantly fought stage 4 kidney cancer. Rick was many things, but most of all, he was real, as was his love for our field and for our work. Whether we realize it or not, he touched the lives of each one of us who works in our profession, and he made us all better. Our family, and especially I as a member of this field, appreciate the honor of remembering him through this award, and we congratulate all who receive it. So now I want to turn it over to Jody Cox, who was the nominator of our 2020 recipient.
Thank you, Mary Nell. I promised Shelley that I would keep my introduction very brief, very lighthearted, and the least cry-inducing introduction ever written. So that's what I'm going to stick to, Shelley. Last May, I received a crack of dawn text from Shelley with surprising, almost shocking news that she was retiring. While we are all thrilled for Shelley, it hit me that our field would feel an immediate and tangible loss upon her retirement. The day of her text, I contacted a few of Shelley's colleagues at Blindness and Visual Services to plot and scheme, as Shelley would call it, to nominate her for the Richard L. Walsh Service Award. I wish all things in life were as easy as getting colleagues to write letters of recommendation for Shelley. The day Lynn Fox contacted us to say that Shelley would be the award recipient, Karen Walsh-Emma and the crew from the Blindness and Visual Services Wilkes-Barre office continued with their evil plotting and scheming and convinced Shelley to meet at a restaurant in Hazleton, an hour from her house. Let's just say she was not wearing her party best. One might call it a prelude to our new adventure of online meetings. Shelley arrived at the restaurant and, with a comedy team of denials on why the group was getting together, the group waited for Lynn Fox to call Shelley. For anyone who knows or has worked with Shelley, she does not tolerate not knowing what is going on very well. When Lynn finally did call and announced that Shelley was the recipient of the award, Shelley looked at the group and asked Lynn in all seriousness, "Who?" Well, Shelley, your dedication and commitment to your students, families, customers, and the field of education and rehabilitation of people who are blind, visually impaired, and deafblind is truly inspiring. And it is recognized by all who know you and are blessed to work with you. I have a PS to the story. Shelley is back working in the field she loves as a private contractor. And for that we say, of course she is. So congratulations, Shelley, and you truly deserve this award. Thank you.
Thank you, Jody, and everyone. Hi, everyone. I want to express my extreme gratitude and appreciation for this award. Thank you to the awards committee and our steady patent friends for the resourcefulness and efforts in making this presentation happen virtually. Thank you to my good friend Jody Cox for spearheading my nomination, and thank you to the BPVS crew of friends and colleagues who wrote letters of support and gave up their time on my behalf. Those of you who know me well already know my simple story. I actually entered this field when I was in the 4th grade. My sister brought home a Braille alphabet card from school and threw it on the kitchen table, never to look at it again. I, on the other hand, was so amazed that people could read with their fingers that I knew I had to learn more. And the more I learned, the more I fell in love with the information in the field of blindness and visual impairment. I am one of the lucky few that has woken up every day for an entire career and looked forward to going to work. And when you're lucky enough to be surrounded by dedicated,
You got it.
oh man,
You're okay.
hardworking people, like everyone, but I can't do it. Hey, hardworking people, like everyone listening on this presentation tonight, work just becomes a labor of love. I treasure that I've spent the first half of my career in education and the second half in rehab, and have gained wonderful lifelong friendships as time went on. And education and rehab are developing programs together to benefit the people we serve now more than ever before. And it is my hope that this path continues forward as life and services as we know them continue to change. Thank you everyone again for this special recognition. And I am honored and humbled and grateful to have worked with such a compassionate, dedicated group of people. And in closing, on those days when you feel like your work responsibility has become overwhelming and you feel that your energy is diminished, remember that even the slightest of efforts, even something as simple as a Braille alphabet card thrown on a kitchen table, has the ability to create a spark of positive change. Everything you do plants the seed. Thank you very much.
Congratulations, Shelley. Much deserved. It's a very humbling experience. I know. I've been sitting where you are, and I know how difficult it is to do what you've just done. And especially to talk into a blank screen. I mean, hey, this is tough, but very deserving, very deserving. And I know there are a lot of people sending congratulatory notes through the chat room, and I hope you get a chance to look at those. We're hopeful to grab those and share those with all of the recipients here. The recipients of the Ellie and the Welsh awards receive a lovely engraved crystal bowl, a framed certificate, along with copies of the nominations documents. So they receive all of those things. And if you were paying close attention, Stacy had them displayed very beautifully in the background when she was speaking. Large posters of the award recipients are also displayed at the annual conference. We sent them to them, however, in a smaller version so they could put them in their scrapbooks. Remember, you can also send congratulations via email by clicking on their names in the invitations you received last week and probably today. If you click on their names in the email, that will automatically take you to their email addresses, or later at the end of tonight's event, we will have their emails displayed on the screen and you can grab them then. I have one more brief announcement. I received word earlier this week that another AER member, Brittany Larkin, is the recipient of the International AER Blosh Student Scholarship. I just wanted to say congratulations, Brittany. Pendel rocks. Okay, everyone, it's time. Grab your glass. Raise your glass. Now, please join me. I'm waiting on Greg to do something special. Greg?
Go for it. We're
Go
all
for
there
it.
in gallery view. Go for it, Brenda.
Are we? Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, please join me. Raise your glass as we congratulate all of our winners. Patty, Laura, Stacy, Shelley, we are so very proud of you. All the best. Everyone stay home and stay healthy. And we'll see you at next year's conference.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, everyone.
Congratulations.
Salute.
Salute.
And thank you, Brenda, for those kind words at the end. That was
You're
really
welcome.
sweet.
Well deserved.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Well, thank you to all. What I did is I have copies of the attendees and the entire chat, and I'll email that to Lynn to distribute, okay?
Thanks, Doug. That would be nice. Thank you.
That was so
You're
nice,
welcome.
everyone.
Thank you.
I thought you were going to
Good job.
split the
Sherry,
screen up
good
and
job.
show everyone on the screen.
Congratulations, Brenda. You did a lovely job, you and your committee.
Oh,
Yes.
Well done. Well
Thank
done.
you, everybody. Yes, it was beautiful. Thank you, everybody, for all your efforts to put this together. We very much appreciate it.
This
You guys
it
did a
worked
great
out,
job.
and it worked out great. It worked
It
out
did.
great.
really did.
Next year, you get hugs.
That's right. That's
We'll
right.
hug you then.
Yeah.
You guys, everyone did a nice job.
And as crazy as all this pandemic is and all the worrisome things that are happening, it's things like this that we are going to always remember. So this was truly special tonight. So thank you.
Great, great.
I said this will be one for the books.
It will. We will always remember this. And thank you again for making it so special for all of us.
Well,
Sure.
that's a crazy committee, but
Well, it took efforts of all of you. And please know that I truly appreciate it.
thank
I
you.
didn't know I was going to cry tonight, and I cried too. Jeez.
I'm glad I have a box of tissues here.
You know, it's stuff like this that makes me realize why, after I retired, that I wanted to stay with this group.
Yeah. There's a lot of special people out there in this group.
Yeah.
There are. Isn't that the truth?
That's right. Yeah.
Isn't that the truth?
All right, Doug, you have the chat, right?
All right. Thank you. I think did everybody else log off if I'm only seeing a few of us? Is Jamie gone?
Still here.
Jamie's here.
I'm still
Oh,
here.
There you
Switch it
go.
to gallery view.
If you switch to gallery view now, you
Oh,
see who's
yeah.
left.
Jamie, Jamie, you had me crying. I was kind of keeping it back, but I tell you got my heart
Thanks, Lynn.
tonight.
You are my hero, girl.
No, not that, but you just said such amazing things. So thank you from the bottom of my heart.
It's easy to do when I talk about you. Doug,
And I
on
made you a panelist, so get on camera.
Am I?
Yeah, there, yes.
Okay,
yay.
so I didn't get dressed for the occasion, so I didn't want to be on camera earlier. But I am so thrilled for you guys, Jamie and Jody. You guys, fabulous introductions to everybody. This was so beautiful. I can't wait to watch this back. This is going to be my favorite binge watching. This is you guys are amazing, everybody.
They're in the background.
Andy and George, do you want to jump on here too?
Yes.
Okay, I'm jumping them on here. There we go.
Oh, look at the nails.
Don't look at mine.
You guys know I never do my nails, but these are my daughter did these for me. Nail
Whoa.
stickers.
Oh, they're stickers.
Yeah.
So that's
Nail
so.
polish stickers.
What part of the homeschool curriculum is that?
There we go.
My 10-year-old is learning how to straighten her hair. She's
Self-help, self-care.
Olivia.
Oh my God.
That's
Oh, Jim
right.
was joining us too.
Yeah, I allowed Joe. If you
Oh,
guys
there's
check
Danielle.
the
Hey,
attendees,
Danielle.
Sandy, put your video on.
Good job with the intro, so thank you. And Debbie, I always appreciate hearing about Ellie background piece leading into it. Those are such strong anchors to what we do for the chapter. I don't know. I'm beaming. Like I cried, I laughed.
Greg, I'm just gonna let
Sandy.
everybody else in.
Yep.
Sandy, click on video.
Patty, did your sons get to join in? Did they
There
come
she
on?
is.
I'm coming.
There they are. Hey.
Hey, Greg.
Hi.
Hey,
Hi.
George.
George.
Boy,
Hi, Tracy.
Look how tan he is.
Pickleball does that.
Kelly, did you see Brian Sherwood is on?
You can see them?
Yeah, we got him.
Hi. Hi, everybody.
Hey, Sandy.
Hey, guys. Hey, Sandy. Hey, George.
dear.
Hi.
Oh, hi.
Hi, Tracy.
Oh, my goodness. Hi, it's Nancy. I'm here.
Hey, Nancy.
Hi, Nancy.
Hey, Nancy.
This is the after hours party.
We ought to arrange one
We
of
get
these
down.
just to get together.
It's great. Good job, Greg.
Yeah.
You've done good, darling.
Oh, thanks. I didn't screw up too much.
Oh, you did. It was great.
All right.
One little slip, you were hovering.
Of course, we have to be careful. It's still recording, guys.
Oh, we better stop.
Doug, we can pause that recording now.
No, this will be edited. As a matter of fact, I'll pause the recording now.
There you go. Good